The whole speed culture tells us that faster is always better, that in order to improve things, you speed them up. And that virus of hurry has infected the way we approach relationships. So whether it's on social media where we have 941 friends, but when was the last time we spent a whole afternoon hanging out with one, right? Or do you think of the sort of pre-COVID dating culture, right? The kind of hookup Tinder culture of, swipe right, wham, bam, thank you, man, on to the next thing. Sort of, I think a lot of that was pretty unsatisfying for people. And what the pandemic, I think, has done is reminded us of just how important that is and how slowness is the avenue into deep relationships, right? You cannot make someone fall in love with you faster because you want to get married next month, right? It doesn't work that way. You can't, forge a deep friendship by next week because you need to have someone to backpack around Asia with you, or you can't download team spirit in a company tomorrow morning because you've got a big presentation to do, right? These human interactions are slow. They require time. They're messy. They're clumsy. They're wobbly. They're glorious, right? But they require time and attention. They require us to slow down. And I think for many people, that's been the big learning of the pandemic. And it's very often the first thing people say when I work with people who have slowed down. One of the first things they'll say is, I realized how alone I was before. I had a lot of very fast connections, but I didn't have real connections. And it's slowing down that deepens and brings texture and meaning and layer to any kind of relationship. So I think that's a huge win. Can I just add as a footnote here, I mentioned in passing the dating thing. That was interesting that when the COVID thing hit, that was something you read a lot about, was that because people couldn't meet up having swiped right, they were forced to slow down and engage in a kind of slow courtship. And so you would hear, mainly women, but you hear some men too saying, it was actually really lovely. It was a real relief that instead of just having to, go straight for it, right? It was, we would have a Zoom dinner. We would talk, we would seduce each other, right? There was all that kind of Jane Austen sort of build up that would go into it. And I think a lot of people are thinking, that's something that got thrown out the window in the fast forward culture before. And I wouldn't mind hanging on to some of that after the pandemic too.